Hi, my name is Beer, and let's start with Sands of Aura. This is a wonderful hack-and-slash RPG, but with huge influence from the Souls-like genre, meaning that you will die a lot, and then you will die even more, and that, at least for me, takes a lot of fun away. Game has really beautiful graphics, and despite it's a hard game, you can control your hero quite easily and kill some monsters without a sweat. Well, after some practice. To be honest, after a lot of practice. And for some of you, practice may not help at all.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Anyway, I'm kidding, the game is not insanely hard, but it will challenge you, especially the bosses. Otherwise, it's a nice game. King Arthur, Knight's Tale. This is a cool hybrid between turn-based games like XCOM and traditional character-centric CRPGs. You'll find diverse battle maps where you will have to position yourself to avoid shield walls and flank your enemies. Also use covers against archers, make use of the terrain, hide in the foliage, and surprise your enemies with your endless wisdom. Knight's Tale is a modern retelling of a classic story with a heavy touch of dark fantasy tropes, a twist on the traditional tales of chivalry, and a bearded wizard with a friendly smile. You will encounter nothing like that here. Knight's Tale is grimdark and really refreshing on your eyes, tired from all these colorful games nowadays. Although keep in mind that all your characters are expendable, and if they die they will stay dead forever, meaning that the game is leaning to the hardcore and may not be very easy for you. Grounded. One of the smallest open-world games. You can only freely move around in your yard of several square meters. The trick is that the game follows the best traditions of famous movie
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
And here you are literally shrunk to the size of an ant. So actually this world is vast, beautiful and dangerous place. You know, almost every predator is bigger than you. Probably a dog peeing on some flower can literally drown you in a way that you wouldn't want to be carved on your tombstone. So here we'll explore, build and survive together in this first-person multiplayer survival adventure. So can you thrive alongside the hordes of giant insects fighting to survive the perils of the backyard? Well, alone probably not, but if you have some friends or a loving mother-in-law, you can play the game together and have lots of fun. The rating on Steam hovers around 90%, and that is always a sign of a good game. Death Stranding, Director's Cut. After the collapse of civilization, you must journey across a ravaged landscape crawling with dangers to save mankind from the brink of extinction. Game is created by legendary Hideo Kojima, so brace yourself for some weirdness. The famous Danish actor Mads Mikkelsen and the Walking Dead hair model Norman Reedus gave their bodies and voices to the characters, so that alone is probably enough to catch your attention. Also, you can actually take a Dumpty Dump in there. Such nice details. Death Stranding is definitely not a standard game. It really differs from almost everything I have seen. Some salty guys call the game a walking simulator, but you know, in a walking simulator you can't die, and here death is on every corner. It's even in the name of the game. Death Stranding can be too stressful for more sensitive people, so keep in mind that this is not just a happy walk in the park. It's quite dark and gloomy, and it will really test your nerves. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. With a name like that, you probably wouldn't expect violence, blood and partial nudity in this action RPG looter-shooter, but this is what this game is all about, because it is a spin-off of the Borderlands. First Tiny Tina's Adventure was a DLC for the original Borderlands that came out in 2013. Later it was released as a standalone game and flopped massively. It has mixed reviews on Steam, so developers decided to take another shot. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a first-person shooter fantasy RPG game, which is not a very common thing these days, and for that only deserves your attention. Although it has mostly positive review score on Steam, so if you are not made of money, I suggest you put the game in your wishlist and wait for a bigger discount. Songs of Conquest. For everyone who hopes this game to be another Heroes of Might and Magic 3, I have good news. This actually is another Heroes of Might and Magic game, literally. It's an honest clone made in pixel art style. When I played it, I had the feeling that if you gave the same task of
Please make Heroes 3
to two different teams, then Songs of Conquest could be the alternative pixel art Heroes 3 we never had. Until now, so is it a modern game filled with novelties and originality? No. Is it a nostalgic, really beautiful alternative Heroes 3 game we actually want? Yes. Yes, it is. Although, if you are allergic to pixels, it's not for you. Avoid. You know, even if you like the art style like I do, sometimes you want to zoom in so you could look at the creatures, at their features, but then you realize that you just zoomed in on a bunch of colored squares and you can't even tell where the head or its butt is anymore. Also, Songs of Conquest have no town screens. I think it's the biggest flaw. I want my town screens, I can't do anything about that, but in general, this is a great game. Curse of the Dead Gods. This game is obviously oriented for the fans of Hades, or as one commentator on Steam said, Curse of the Dead Gods plays as Hades and looks like Darkest Dungeon. Honestly, it's a fair comparison. So in this game you will seek untold riches, eternal life and divine powers. It will lead you to this accursed temple, a seemingly infinite labyrinth of bottomless pits, deadly traps and monsters. Well, the rest is self-explanatory. The game also introduces a cool mechanic of unique curses. They influence each attempt, putting a twist on every action. Although keep one thing in mind, you will have to parry a lot, and that Souls-like mechanic sometimes is very annoying. Otherwise, it's a great game. 86% of reviews on Steam are positive. Baba is You. Let me start with the fact that the review score of the game is close to 100%, and it is determined by thousands of players, so the deal here is real. Baba is You is multiple award-winning puzzle game where you can change the rules by which you play. In every level, the rules themselves are present as blocks you can interact with. By manipulating them, you can change how the level works and cause surprising, unexpected interactions. With some simple block pushing, you can turn yourself into a rock, or turn patches of grass into dangerously hot obstacles. You know, almost as hot as you, my friend. You look awesome today, never doubt yourself. The game has over 200 levels that experiment with the game's mechanics in a multitude of ways, requiring you to understand and manipulate the rules of the game and figure out devious ways to make the objects in the game world interact. Ashes of Singularity. He will battle for control of the galaxy as the advanced human race or their eternal foes, aliens named the Substrate. He will dive into massive battles with thousands of units in huge, really detailed maps, and that distinguishes this game from many other RTSs. Although keep in mind that these amounts of units in Ashes of Singularity require massive computing power.
Not as massive as your mama.
You can play the game alone or online with friends in ranked or unranked multiplayer mode, or play it by yourself against a powerful non-cheating AI in skirmish or campaign mode. That is actually great, a well-made and, just like your wife, let's hope, non-cheating AI is kinda rare because it's hard to make. So developers tend to cut it out and replace it with a fake AI instead, that gets unlimited resources and can see you through the fog of war. It's like giving see-through closed glasses to the random pervert. But not this time, Ashes of Singularity doesn't cut corners. Or AIs. People on Steam are saying that the game has a fun level editor and the amount of lasers is never too high. Strange Horticulture. Here you'll find and identify new plants, pet your cat, speak to a coven, or join a cult. Use your growing collection to influence the story and unravel dark mysteries. You are a citizen of a charming town surrounded by hag-infested forests and rugged mountains. You are the horticulturist, owner of a local plant store. As a cast of colorful customers come by your shop, you are quickly thrust into an occult mystery stretching back hundreds of years. Explore the lands beyond your store to find new plants, but be careful. The dark woods and lakes are not always friendly to a simple herbalist. You might discover powers beyond your wildest nightmares, or lose your mind completely. Game has an overwhelmingly positive review score. It's a true masterpiece. If you like interesting, non-cliché stuff, it's a must-play for you. Sifu. If you ever wanted to feel like Bruce Lee in his movies, then this game is definitely your spoon of potato salad. The big difference this game offers is that here enemies don't wait for their turn to beat you, so you will have to be quick, nimble and smart to defeat them all. Kung Fu is mastery achieved by practice, a path for the body and the mind. You will learn from your mistakes, unlock unique skills and find the strength to master the devastating techniques of the strongest Kung Fu style ever invented. Well, I have zero knowledge about Kung Fu, to be honest. My ninjutsu martial arts teacher always said that if you can avoid the fight, avoid it. If you can't avoid it, grab an object like a chair and beat your enemies with it. Don't use your hands if you can, they hurt. Well, he also said that if a robber attacks you and you manage to knock him off, take his wallet and then pee on him. Show your dominance. And that is not a joke, my sensei really said that. Yeah, for real, leave honor for the movies.
Thank you for watching, have a nice day and I'll see you next time, bye. Subscribe to my channel or no potato salad for you.